DJ Smallwood, Slingin Dirt Media, made it down to Dry Ridge, Kentucky today, Saturday afternoon. What's going on? I'm sitting here with Jerry Gibson, the second, right?
Yep.
You're the second.
Yep.
The third, your son.
Yep.
Okay. What's going on, man?
Not much. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I feel like this is one of those episodes, it's like, man, this could have been done like a year or so ago.
Yes.
It's like, how did we not cross paths and make this happen before?
Yeah, I thought that.
Time flies.
Yeah, I was going to get a hold of you, and then with us racing like we are, it's kind of like,
So I think I have a busy schedule. Your schedule is probably just as insanity as mine.
Yeah, we truck over the road and then racing, traveling all over, running SCDRA, Ohio Valley SCDRA, and the Northeast when we can.
Yeah.
If there's anywhere that's paying over $1,000, we try to hit it.
You're there. You're there. That makes sense. Well, let's go back to this. This is going to take you back. Tell me about your first ride.
My very first ride.
Very first ride. How old were you when you started?
I was 15 years old when I started.
15.
15.
That's been a couple years ago.
That's been quite a few years ago. Was a 70 Monte Carlo. It was Dave Beard's car.
Okay.
And we put just a bone stock 350 in it. Just go out there and have some fun.
Yeah.
Went out there and in hot laps, and I was second fastest out of everybody out there in hot laps. And I was like, holy cow, this is going to be pretty good. So I was supposed to start, heat-wise, I was supposed to start third row inside.
Yeah.
Third row inside. They throw the green flag, and it's like they opened the gates. The front two rows just split, and me and I can't remember who started beside me, but we split them. So we was four wide down the front straightaway.
The first time you ever raced?
First time I ever raced. I was gun-ho, I was going to do it, but I was also, I'm a second generation, so I've been around it my whole life.
Okay.
So we split, we was four wide. The guy on the bottom, he rolled out of throttle, everybody moved down. Well, I didn't want to tear Dave's car up, so I moved down with him and caught this guy's bumper, jumped the infield guardrail, landed. That's when they still parked in the infield.
Still parked in the infield.
Yeah.
Now, this is Florence.
This is Florence,
Florence, okay.
Florence was the first one, and I landed right by Larry Moreland's.
Okay.
Big Larry comes over and he grabs me. Dad always told me, you get in a wreck, get out of the car. So I'm winging my belts. Big Larry's like, calm down, calm down.
Whoa.
Like, no, Dad told me, he said, you're all right, just calm down.
Right.
So I probably would have just about give it up at that point. And then I had a cousin setting up in the stands, and I went up there later, and he's like, yep, you'll quit now. And it made me determined then I wasn't quitting.
It's amazing how somebody's comment will stick with you and light your fire.
Right.
I had an uncle, and he told me, and I did my damnedest. He said, as long as you have one of those, he said, you'll never have anything. And, man, I was bound and determined to prove him wrong, but I have way more stuff. Now that I don't have a car, I've got way more stuff.
Oh, I agree. I could probably do a whole lot more if it wasn't for that, but I've been doing it so long now, I ain't giving it up.
What else are you going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably not going to go golfing.
I'd still go watch, so I might as well just have it and still have fun. I still enjoy doing it. So.
Right. Now, I've got to suspect, I don't know, because I'm a little dumb, I don't know a lot about these cars. I know the bare minimum. Is there a lot of maintenance to one of these?
Yeah, because you can't, it's not, everything's stock, but you got to modify stuff to try to make it raceable.
Okay.
So, and it's... Yeah.
I gotta suspect that I know what kind of time guys spend on late models and modifieds.
We do the same.
You're doing the same?
We're doing the same.
Wow.
Usually with the traveling, we usually have a couple weeks in between. So the first week we kind of just go over and make sure what all we need.
Yeah.
And then the second week it's Katie bar to door. Got the lift.
Okay.
Got everything tore apart, rechecking the bearings.
Yeah.
Taking all the struts off, checking all them, make sure there ain't none of them busted because they bust a lot. So,
brake pads and everything else.
So it's
ball joints,
a full just like a.
Okay.
If you're going to travel and do it, you got to do it just like them. honestly, we're racing for the same money the late model guys are. So.
Right. Okay. Well, let's go back to that first car that you were driving for Dave. We wrecked that thing. Where'd you go to from there? You didn't quit.
No, we about a month later, my Uncle Al, he had a big Impala.
Okay.
And he said, why don't you take that motor and put it in there? So we put it in there, and the next time I raced was at Richmond. I ran third. So that was it after
Do you have any idea what year this was?
85.
85. Yeah. That's going back a little ways.
Yeah. Yeah, I started in 85. I ran 2 races in 85. 86 I ran a full year.
Okay. How long did you stick with that class? Because me and Jody Shannon, we were talking the other day. It's like, man, we feel like you've driven about every single class in our area, other than the sprints. You said,
Yeah, sprints, and now they got Crown Vics. I've not drove a Crown Vic or a Legend car.
Or Legend car. Okay, so we need to change that somehow, some way, shape, or form. Okay.
So the Bombers probably. Man, I'm trying to think when I messed with them all the way up until 91. I think when they started the figure 8.
Really?
When they started figure 8 is when I done something different.
Yeah.
And and honestly, from 86 up to 91, it was hit and miss, winning some B mains, heat races, a feature, but never at home. Never won a feature at Florence Speedway for a long time. Actually, it was a front wheel drive, my first
time you won feature.
Other than on the figure 8 track, yeah.
You did win a figure 8 feature.
Yes, I won a lot.
So
I've got a total of 25 figure 8 features.
Really?
2 championships.
So how many years? Do you know how many years they ran the figure 8s?
5.
Okay.
No, 6.
Do you think maybe there's got to be a way of looking this up? Maybe Ron Jerger might have the answer to this. Who won the most figure 8 features at Florence?
It's either between me or my cousin Ricky.
Okay.
I know one year I won 13 in a row. So,
really?
Which was pretty much the whole. I
Yeah,
think they
whole
ran
season.
14, 15 races, and I won.
Wow.
I won most of them.
That's impressive.
Ricky hit a good spell there. I can't remember how many. He won a bunch too. So.
Okay. That's some winning.
I mean, it pretty much when the figure 8 started, they called it the Gibson 8 anyway because it was
The Gibson
it was us. I mean,
Right.
Donnie Dunn come into it, and he said he was an adopted Gibson just so he could race with us.
He was
So
a
it was a
redheaded
lot of
stepchild.
fun. It got crazy there towards the end, but it was a lot of fun. But
Yeah.
in the figure 8 cars, I won 2 championships, and then Brandon won a championship in my car. So,
Okay.
So I've had as a car owner 3 figure 8 championships.
So, from what I remember, the figure 8s, who was driving? Didn't Jerry King owned one? Didn't he? I thought
Not that I know of.
I'm pretty sure he had one, and it was painted. You may remember it. It was painted like the Valvoline, like the NASCAR.
Well, that was yeah. I guess he did have some, but that was Chuck. McWilliams.
Yeah, he may not have had
Chuck McWilliams.
Okay,
It was
yeah,
Chuck's. David drove it for a little bit. Chuck drove it for a couple times.
Okay.
I think Chuck drove it, but I know David drove it.
I don't know how long. He may not have had that car very long.
Yeah, I think it was like the first or second year, and then it was because
Yeah.
it started building up. Then he was trying to help build the cars.
Yes.
But I was always told it was Chuck's, but I kind of figured there was more to it.
Well, the only reason I know that is because I had a conversation with Jerry, and he was going to let me drive it. I just wanted to drive something. This is way before I ever got behind the wheel of something. And, man, I wanted to drive anything. He said, well, I'll let you drive that little thing if you want. And I was like, I don't know what to do.
They was, like I said, when they first started, they was fun. They kept the track a little muddy, so you couldn't get a lot of speed.
Right.
We didn't have no motors in them.
Yeah.
We just threw a lot of gear in them.
Yeah.
And mud tires and just go.
Yeah.
And then by the end, they was building, I know
Yeah.
Bill had a 415 in it. Yeah.
Good Lord.
They was building motors in them and building tanks, and that's why I was like, oh, I'm done with them.
A very fast demolition derby car.
Yes.
We'll talk about the Bombers for a minute. Now, that goes back. I was a kid. I mean, I'm young. I remember, and I remember a couple of names, and I remember a couple of cars, but I really feel like I remember the field. You probably know that way more than I do. Do you remember the Squirt car?
Yes.
It was like that, about the color of your shirt.
Yes.
Had the drink, Squirt on the
There
side.
for a long time, he had the track record.
Really?
I went out in a big body Impala, broke track record. He come out right behind me, broke track record, and it stayed until they dropped the class.
Really?
And that was Everybody swore up and down the road. No way, them big cars was running that
Going
fast.
that fast? Yeah,
But, it stood. Those 2 cars was one right behind another.
Right.
And he told me, he's like, I was chasing you.
And I remember, is it Tim O'Brien?
Yep.
I just like the number 18.
Yep.
He had a number 18 car, and I was like, I don't remember if he was ever any good or not. I just remember I liked the car.
Yeah, he won some races.
Now, would this also been the same class that David McWilliams had the Beretta?
Yep.
Okay.
The Beretta come later, but
Yes, a little
Yeah.
much later.
That's when they started advancing it.
Yeah,
But yeah, when I got into it, it was Rich Profit, Ray Williams,
yeah. Racing
Herb
Ray,
Jewell.
Herbie Jewell. Yeah.
I mean, them guys was like they was the ones, kind of like what I did with the front wheel drives when they started. They was one teaching guys coming in. This is what you got to do. This is what you.
They
can't
were the
do.
seasoned veterans at the time. Yeah. Okay. So we're caught up. We're on the same page with those. Then we do figure eights. You said they raced this for about 5 years.
Yeah, I only ran 2 years of it. I ran the first year I ran two races because we was doing something else. The next year I ran full season. 2000, I don't remember now, but I ran a bomber car. Actually moved to a bomber instead of a street stock. I ran Lawrenceburg for a Turner TNT.
Yeah.
And then they built a new car for 2000 or 99, I think it was. So they didn't have it, so I went back to my figure eight car.
So did they have the bomber cars? They had the bombers and the
Super Dirts.
They had the
They
bombers
started-
and the super dirts.
Yeah, they
at
just
the
started
same-
the Super Dirts.
Yes.
So that's what they was building, a new one of them. I drove a 69 Camaro for them when we ran Lawrenceburg. I ran second in points over there.
And this was Turner's car.
Yeah.
The blue car.
Yeah, George Barr actually set it up. I was dump trucking with George.
Okay.
And he's like, I got some guys that you need to hook up with. So I think they'll be good for you and you'd be good for them.
Yeah.
As the first time other than family, I drove for somebody else.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And it worked out pretty good. I mean, I won quite a few races with them. And then, like I said, I went back to the figure eight car. And then the following year, they had the street stock done.
Right.
We ran Florence with it. Should have got rookie in the Super Dirt street stock, whatever you call it, and lost about 1 point because I lost a motor.
Yeah.
And the following year, we went to Flemingsburg. I won championship down there. And I think we won 8, 9 features down there.
Yeah. I remember, so like the pits, the way where Moreland's garage is, and they had the down over the hill.
Yep.
I always kind of went down and was like one of the first couple of spots.
Yep.
And for a few years, it seemed like a few. Now it may only been 1 or 2. I started racing Super Dirt in 2000. So there was quite a few years I was parked right next to Denny.
Yeah.
And when he was running the figure eight. So, and then after that happened, they did away with the figure eight.
Right.
So those cars went to bombers?
They went back to what they called them pure stocks when
Pure
they first
stocks.
come back.
Pure
Yeah.
stocks, right.
Yeah, they tried to do, but instead of doing bomber, they called them pure stocks, but it was pretty much the same.
Same thing.
Brandon used the same car.
Yeah. You did Super Dirts for a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah, I did them for quite a few years. I won championship down there in Flemingsburg 2000, and then when Moeller opened in 2007, I won a championship with it there
2007.
too. Yep.
See, we've talked about that, and that's came up on a couple different episodes. Like, I don't remember. I mean, I know it was in that time. It's like I never could narrow down. It's like, I don't remember what year Moeller opened up.
I remember that one because we won the championship.
Yeah, I think I'd remember that too. How about old Brown County?
I never raced there.
Really?
I went there and watched a bunch of enduros and regular shows, but never got to race there.
Never got the race.
Yeah,
there.
because at that time I was messing around with my Uncle Alfred's car, and he's like, "Oh, you ain't going, you ain't going."
Yeah.
The one time I was supposed to go, it was a Saturday, and I raced at Union County on Friday, and I blowed my engine up, so I didn't go. I didn't go to Brown County on Saturday.
Yeah.
I just went up there and helped them.
I grew up in Brown County. Went to school in Mount Orr, Western Brown. My mom and dad's place is 2.6 miles from Moeller. So that would have been so much closer almost to go to Brown County, but it was travel time really wasn't that much different than coming to Florence.
Right.
Because we had to go to 68 and all the way down 68 to Russellville, Georgetown, all that.
Yep.
So it really wasn't that much. It seems like on the map it's a lot closer, but because of the expressway, it really wasn't that bad.
Yeah, nowadays it'd be easier to run Brown County than what it was back then. 'Cause
Oh,
I remember
yeah.
going with Dave Beard.
Yeah.
We went up there on a Sunday show. He had his Camaro, and it actually come off the trailer, making the turn on the 68. So he pulled it with a wrecker.
Yeah.
Picked the car up, slid it back on with the wrecker, get up there to the racetrack, and broke the harmonic balancer and the bottom pulley off.
Oh.
We tore the wrecker apart, put the car back together. So run the race. He ran 5th or 6th, so we had to tear the car back apart, put the wrecker back
Put the
together
parts
to get
back on
home.
the record. It's probably not as I would say back then. Way more common because I feel like I've heard guys do that on several different things. Carburetor.
I took a water pump off of mine somewhere down in Kentucky just so I can run a feature.
Take the water pump off your pool.
That was pretty stupid, but
what happens if you tear it off and you can't get home?
At that time, you don't think about it. I didn't think about it. I just wanted to race.
Yeah, I've heard of guys taking carburetors off their trucks and putting it on the race cars and just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I used to call them places all the time. Everybody worried about how much they paid to win. I'd call them. So what's start money?
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean? I was like, well, I want to know what it starts because I got gas money coming and going.
Yeah.
I want to know if I'm going to have enough gas to get there and back.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember when tracks started going to paying by check?
Yeah, I hated that. I still don't like it at all because most of the time we do run to where I try to have. That's what I count on for my getting home.
Sometimes you need to get home. I get it. I remember the first time I went to Brush Creek. I went to Brush Creek and they handed me a check. I'm like, oh, snap. I'm going to be close getting home tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, we went to Richmond. Didn't know they was doing it. Went down there, ran good. Guys like, oh, we had to start doing something different. We're mailing checks. I'm like, I got a quarter tank of gas. I don't think I can make it home. He's like, that's all we're doing, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I had to dig change out of ashtray to make sure I had enough gas to get home. I was like, yeah.
But gas prices were a lot different
back
then.
Yeah, you can do that then.
You can do that. Yeah, that ain't happening
now
nowadays.
I ain't digging enough change out now.
No kidding. You'd have to have a really big ashtray to get the change.
Well, yeah, just like the Screven trip, it's $1,000 in gas just to go down and back. So
Screven, Georgia.
Yep.
And pays to win.
Yeah, it's $5,000 win here in 2 weeks or next weekend.
What's it paid to start?
$150.
$150. Hey, so
$100 entry fee though, so basically it's $50.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, the SCDRA is more. The Southern SCDRA is more on the top end. If he spread it out more, it would help more people travel. But he's got a good following. I mean, hell, he's probably got 15, 16 guys that are at every race. Yeah,
every race. What kind of where will they go? I've never been to Screven. I know where it is.
So let's see. He runs Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina. Had some Tennessee races, but of course they all got canceled this year. So let's see. Cherokee, which I had bad luck at Cherokee, got this car tore up and another guy's car tore up. Dixie got rained out. I'm trying to think where all it is. I'd have to look it up now. I-75, it got rained out. And they did the Beckley, which we missed it, in West Virginia. I think he runs like 16, 17 races is what he had on his schedule.
Okay.
And then Jody had like 8, 10 on his, and I think 4 of them got rained out.
Yeah. Every time, I've never been to I-75.
Love that track.
Every time I had it scheduled to go, it's been rained out. So I think I'm just not going to put a schedule.
There you go.
Just plan on going one time.
Well, when I first put this car together, the first night with it was at Florence for the King of the Compact. Made the show in the heat race, and going across the infield to the scales, it caught on fire. Air filter come loose and laid down on the header.
Oh.
So I didn't get to run it. I run Bubba's car for the feature because I made the show. And then we fixed it, went to I-75, and I ran 5th.
Yeah.
So this car's had a pretty good start up.
Nice. So what was this car originally?
It's an EP3, like an 02 EP3 Honda.
Okay, EP3 Honda. Okay. It kind of favors a Honda.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of King of Compact, I see a couple of crowns here.
Yes.
Tell me about those.
Well, Bubba won his. He was King number 2. That was when it was still at Brush Creek.
Yeah.
And that one there was kind of funny because I was actually ready to give up on him. He had been struggling with that car, having trouble every time, either him or something with the car. And I told him down there right before that race started, I said, he started on the tail. I said, if you don't at least pass cars, I'm going to get rid of it. I'm not doing this.
You're done.
And because I took it to Richmond and ran second with it. It was a fast car. I knew it was a good car.
Yeah.
So setting up in the stands. I set up there drinking beer. And I was like, all right, just see what it does. I'm watching. I told my brother-in-law, I was like, man, he's moving.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, he's up in third. I'm like, he's got a chance to win this thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he got up into second, and they cut the laps down. So I was like, all right, well, we'll take that a second. You know, he
How
passed.
many laps was it originally?
It was supposed to be, I think it was 25, but up there, Breast Creek did a lot of goofy stuff. I think it was 25 to cut it to 15 or something.
Oh, wow.
Because they paid lap money back then.
Yeah.
And they did it because the guy that won, they knew they was going to DQ him.
Okay.
Because his car was actually illegal, but instead of just not letting him run, they let him run.
And then
he was going to be smart because he was going to collect all the lap money.
Yeah.
Which was going to pay more than the actual race one.
So, my just common sense thinking, if you're DQ'd, you wouldn't get any pay.
Well, yeah, I agree.
I mean, maybe I'm looking at it wrong here.
Well, he did. His plan was he was going to run to the white flag, pull in. They couldn't DQ him.
Yeah. Okay, that's one way around.
So he was going to take all of his lap money and go on. Well, they cut the laps short, so he couldn't do that. So then they DQ'd him, so he didn't get nothing. So they told Bubba, did all the teching down in the infield. They told Bubba pull up on the front stretch up there. Didn't say nothing to nobody. He drives the car around. He's like, I don't know what's going on. So we didn't know nothing. We're standing there. All the rest of the race is going on. People's leaving. It's like, what happened?
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know. Finally, Jody come down. He's like, Bubba's the king. Bubba won. I was like, oh.
No kidding.
Yeah. So he didn't get none of the glory of the win other than.
So they didn't do a victory lane
They didn't do no victory lane for him because.
Really?
Yeah, nobody knew how they was going to do it. So
Yeah.
it was like nobody told anybody nothing.
Well, I mean, I guess there's worse things in the world,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
man, okay.
Yeah, the picture that we have was actually took it with an old flip phone.
Really?
Yeah.
I need that picture.
I think Jody has it.
I need that picture.
I think Jody does.
You're
have
going to tell Jody, chop chop. I'm editing tomorrow. Maybe I can push it off till Monday night. Ooh, I don't know. We'll see.
And then I won mine in 2014.
Okay. Where was yours at?
Mine was at Moeller.
At Moeller. Okay.
And I was driving on the road then too. And they brought the car to the racetrack.
Yeah.
I got there dead tired. I mean, I trucked all night to get to the racetrack. Went out. I won my heat race. I was in the first heat, ran up there, and I watched the rest of the race. And I was like, man, I don't think I got nothing for these guys.
Yeah.
Like, you won your heat. And I was like, I'm telling you, they're fast.
These guys are
I think
fast.
I got lucky.
Yeah.
So I was in the fast car dash and won the fast car dash. Led
Okay.
every lap of it. I'm like, maybe.
Maybe.
So I was the first one to lead every lap. I led every lap and won the race.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So at that time, which actually, honestly, it's still the biggest paying that I've won, which is $2,600 total.
2,600. Yeah. That's is that the biggest overall?
Yeah.
In one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So you kind of like these cars.
Yes, I like these cars.
You drove a lot of different things.
Yep.
Late model for Turner.
I drove for Turner when they first started with them. So 2000, 2001.
Okay.
Yeah, 2000 was the first year, and in 2001 they bought that new TNT car out of Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I got Rookie of the Year down Bardstown, run like 6th, 7th in points.
Yeah.
Should have won a couple races down there. Old tires. And
Yeah.
me being new kind of
Yeah.
bit me, but had a lot of fun. Loved them. I absolutely loved them.
Bardstown was a good track.
And then they come back to Florence. Then they wanted to race part time. So when they did that, I built myself a mod.
Okay.
And then they got mad over that, so we was done.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't want you to be.
Yeah. Said I was splitting my time, even though it was part time. But
Yeah. Okay. We'll go with that.
yeah.
Okay.
I figured, yeah. So then
What kind of modified you have?
I had a Lightning. It was old, heavy leaf spring car.
Oh, okay.
Just-
This sounds like a Stan Freeman special.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'd already been running the Super Dirt, so I knew leaf spring, so I was like,
Yeah.
I'll stick with that.
Yeah.
So
When I went from the Super Dirt to modifieds in 05, and Stan was kind of coaching me along a lot because Stan had been in mods for a long time, and man, he loved the leaf springs. He said I'd take a good leaf spring car right now just as well as any other car out there,
on a rough racetrack, you can't beat a leaf spring car.
Yeah.
When they're hammered down or when they're black slick, bar cars do so much better.
Yeah. That was the one thing that I did like about the Super Dirt stocks. Everything was a leaf spring.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was like everybody was on the same advantage or disadvantage.
See, when I won the one up at Moeller, Ricky Bolton had a 3-link car. When it was hammered down, man, he was hard. when it started getting black, he couldn't get that car to hook up.
Yeah, yeah.
So I always did. Black slick was always better for me.
Yeah.
So I never did have a lot of engine, and I could play with
Right.
the throttle a lot. So it worked real good for me.
My first year in Super Dirt, I had a little. I say a little. I had a little 406. It was nothing special, nothing radical.
I had 358s.
It was a good little dependable motor, and there was guys that had 415s and 421s,
Yep.
and I'm like, man, I don't have that kind of stove that these guys got. And I remember one night I was running exceptionally well. I had spun a lobe off a cam, and this thing sounded like a popcorn machine, just missing like crazy. But the best way that I could describe it is it didn't give me enough power. I couldn't spin the tires.
Yeah, exactly.
So everybody else back then, Florence was black, slick, ice, top to bottom.
That's when it was fun.
Yeah. But if you can't spin tires, you're just moving
Right.
forward. I think I was running inside the top 5. And for me, I was a brand new driver, and that track, that was not my norm.
Right.
And I was running right behind, I believe, Mike Hacker. And Hacker's Hoopty, the big yellow 95 he had. And I was like, I cannot believe I'm running with these guys, but this motor sounds like it's about to come apart. I just pulled in. I'm like, I didn't know what to do. And I'm like, paying for everything myself. I'm like, no, I can't take that kind of chance.
That's probably a lot to do with why I did better on the black tracks, because heat races I wasn't as good, but come feature time I could come from the back to the front.
Yeah.
So, but that was the problem at Florence. There were so many good cars. Mm-hmm. It was hard to come all the way up. I could get up in the top 5, and that was it. Barely break into top 5, and it's like, whew, that took me the whole race to do that.
there was when my cousin Matt started racing, and Matt loved Matt to death, and Matt won. He won way more races than I did. So it's not like my theories are anything better or smarter by any means. I remember a modified race we were in, and I told him, I said, man, Matt, you know what the track's like, man. It's black slick, and bigger motor's not always better. And so this would have been, I'm pretty sure, 05, maybe 06. I'm not sure what year he went to modifieds.
I can't remember when he moved up either.
I want to say he went to mods in 06. So I started on the tail, coming from a B main probably, and I think he'd started about halfway up. He ran pretty good in his heat race, whatever, and it stands out in my mind because I normally didn't run as good as he did. You know what? I take that back. It was 05 because me and him were both going for Rookie of the Year in 05. So it was halfway through the race or whatever, and I'm just easing my way through because, the track's getting slicker and little motor. I'm just easing my way up through. And I remember coming in the corner, and I'm side by side with Matt, and I just hear it go to the floor. You just hear the thing, the RPMs, and you can almost hear the tires spinning.
Yep.
Yeah, and I've never seen him again. I don't know if he just kept falling back or what. It's like, I remember that one time I was better and I beat him.
Yeah, see, when I had the mod, I ran over at Lawrenceburg for the Big Dog and Fun Fest both.
Yeah.
Both of them I come through the alphabet soup.
Yeah.
Heat races wound up like C, D, whatever it was.
Yeah.
The Big Dog, I made it to the B, one spot out.
Yeah.
Barely missed it. I was like, man. So we come back to Fun Fest, had the same problem. Wound up in the all the way up to A. I made it.
Which one? I don't remember the two. I knew it was one of those two. Which one did they run in September? Like the week before the World 100?
That was the Big Dog.
That was a Big Dog.
Yep.
Okay. I had a very similar situation, but I didn't make the. I didn't go on. What night did they qualify? Was that Friday night or was that Thursday night?
Thursday night then.
Thursday night. I didn't go Thursday night. I think maybe I didn't go Friday night. I just went Saturday. So I had to tag the tail to E and then race my way into the D, C, whichever. I made it up to the B, and I was nowhere near. I was mid-pack car at that, and got tangled in a pretty bad wreck. Worst wreck I ever had, but I'd never passed that many cars in one weekend. I'm like, because I had transferred from the tail and made it and kept making it, I'm like, man, I love this place, you know. And this was the old Lawrenceburg.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Old Lawrenceburg. So I know it was before '08. That might have been '06.
Yeah, see, when I ran the big dog, it was Jimmy Owens, Mikey Mahler.
Yeah. Here's some big names in mod
I can't
fights.
remember who. There was another one. He still runs a mod down south some. He's semi-retired now, but all them guys was running mods, and
Yeah.
they was the ones to beat. And I was in a transfer spot in a heat race, and I'm like, I'm gonna make this show. I'm gonna make this show. And Mikey, was it Mikey? Yeah, Mikey got me. Come through.
Yeah.
Did a slide job. Didn't realize I was gonna have that kind of run. He come back there. They offered to fix the car.
Yeah.
I was like, that was pretty cool. You know, it's like
How awesome is it to know that hey, I've raced and I've ran with.
there's a lot more than them. I've ran with a lot of guys that are now in bigger name late models.
Look where they are
It's
now.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, man, what happened?
Yeah. what life choices did
Yeah.
I make wrong? Yeah. I kind of had a couple of those moments. Racing Barry Doss. I'd always, as a kid growing up, always looked up to Barry Dawson, and now, hey, I'm in a modified, and I'm racing door to door with Barry. I mean, he wears me out and ended up beating me, but it's like, man, just to get to race against some of those guys like that,
Yep.
I thought I'd made it and was doing something when I was racing against Larry Moreland, Senior. That to me that was
Yeah.
a big deal. Guys that I
Oh,
really
yeah.
looked up to.
Yeah. Yes. The ones that I run with, like, Vern Lefevre, when I was a kid. Always Vern was my hero. So when
Yeah.
I got to race with Vern, it was like, oh man,
I've done
that was,
something.
That was
Yeah.
down in Mudlick, and went down there and we went out and qualified or something, run a heat race. I can't remember now. And he come in, he's like, all right, if you calm down a little bit, you'll be good. I'm like, calm down. I thought you say you're supposed to drive late model. He's like, you got to calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
He's like, you're just a little over the edge. I'm like, all right.
Okay.
I ran second to him, third to him, whatever.
Yeah.
In the feature.
Did anybody ever tell you? And I know I got this. They said, "Slow down, you'll go faster."
All the time.
I'm like, that don't make any sense.
Yeah, when I first started racing, I mean, I was wide open on everything I did, and that's what every one of them.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm second generation, and I mean, uncles, cousins. I mean, we've got so many
You have
people in
a
our family.
huge family that
yes.
races.
So I was getting it from everybody. Calm down just a little bit. Chuck McWilliams, I mean, he coached me a lot. We was down to Richmond one night. No, we was at Union County. And he just kept on. He's like, you got a fast car.
Yeah.
What are you doing? I said, trying to win. He's like, slow down a little bit.
Calm down, take a chill.
If I slow down, they're going to beat me. He's like, no, let's just slow down a little bit. And I think I ran second that night, too.
Yeah. That's a great feeling, ain't it?
Yeah. I had one get tore up here at Union County. I got to tell this because it's funny.
Go for it.
Tore the driver's door. I mean, it busted it bad. It moved it that far from where it was welded in a heat race.
Okay.
So I was like, I can still run the feature. This is the first time my dad actually let me take the car by myself. So I'm like, I can run the feature. That way I get some gas money going home. Ran the feature. By the time I got home, Chuck had rated till the feature was over. Stuck his head in there and he's like, what are you doing? I was like, what do you mean? He said, I can't believe you raced that. I'm like, it'll be all right. I'll fix it when I get home. Before I got home, Chuck had done got home and called Dad.
Oh.
He was out there looking at the car as soon as I pulled in. He's like, what are you doing? So, yeah, I got in big trouble for that.
You got in trouble. Yeah.
It's like, you know how dangerous that was? I was like, it's just a bar broke. It's all right.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that stuff back then.
Yeah. I actually pulled on the racetrack one time when it was just, I don't know what I was doing. I was running late, whatever the situation was, and we had to go. I couldn't get my belts fully snapped, so I just go ahead and pull on the racetrack. And during the lineup, this is when I think they still stopped on the front stretch, and I'm trying to fidget and I'm trying to get my belt to latch, and I couldn't get it. And the field rolls off, and I'm like, I gotta go. I mean, I'm just like, I made like 2 laps. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? You know,
I run a whole feature like that one time.
Really?
I ran a heat race one time in shorts.
You ran a race car
I ran
in a
race
feature
car
in shorts.
That's when we was running bomber cars, and somebody must have said something because King was back here as soon as I got out of the car.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, if you ain't got at least blue jeans on, they didn't have as much then.
Right.
He's like, I was running behind, and he's like, I'm telling you, don't let me catch you in a car
Don't
again.
ever
like that.
do that again. That's funny. It's weird the stuff that you used to get by with. Yeah, say get by with.
You can get by with a lot of stuff like that, but I mean, I always thought we didn't have much when we was running around here, and then we go down like Eastern Kentucky somewhere racing, and these guys are running in t-shirts and
Yeah.
tennis shoes, and I mean, just, a lot of them had shorts on. It's like,
Yeah.
man, what are they doing?
This is different. Yeah.
They at least made us wear racing jackets up home.
Yeah. Blue jeans and work boots or
I
something.
mean, my first uniform was actually a pair of coveralls.
Okay.
And we sewed on a stripe on it, make it look like actual
A
uniform.
uniform.
That just didn't last but a couple of races, and then we actually got a uniform.
Nice. What is that you're comfortable with telling me? What's the biggest thing that maybe you was how to say, maybe bending the rules a little bit? What's the biggest thing that you may have gotten by with from and didn't tell nobody?
Oh, there's a lot of that.
I figured there might be a lot. I just asked for one.
The rules, it's there. I mean,
They're very
look in
gray.
the gray area.
There's very gray.
That's what it is. I mean,
They're not written in black and
Right.
white. They're in silver.
I mean, you sit there, read it, and it's like, okay, it don't say you can't do it. So if it don't say you can't do it, then that means you can do it.
If it doesn't say,
We did that
Yeah.
a lot. I mean, on
Yeah.
everything. I mean, every car we ever did, we did that. I mean,
yeah.
And everybody still does it.
Still
nowadays.
trying to get by
Yeah.
with as much as we can.
I'll tell. I don't care. Super Dirts them guys was running the floating left rear.
Yeah.
I never tried that, or the right rear. They was floating the right rear.
Mm-hmm.
I never tried that, but what I did is I slotted my left rear mount in the front.
Okay.
It slotted just about an inch, maybe 2 1.5 inches.
Yeah.
Put a roller bearings on each side.
Yeah.
Bolted it up, let the leaf spring roll it, almost like a bar car.
Yeah.
My rear end would move backward, forward, so it'd stand the front end up. And we sat there running one night. It's standing up about 1.5 feet. Jerry King's like, you got that? You got to have that floater on that right rear. I jacked it up, put it on jack stands.
Yeah.
There it is. You
Check it
find it, I'll take it. I'll fix it. I
Yeah.
can't find it. I don't know what it is. He's like, you got something going. I said, I can't find it. I've had this thing apart. I have no clue what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
They looked all over everything. He's like, I don't know what it is. So at the end of that year, Stan come over because that would give me all kind of drive on the black. Stan come over and he's like, what are you doing? So I told him. He hated it. He said it feels too much like a bar car because it actually, when you got the throttle just right, that left rear would hit the back of the seat and make it feel like it's actually hitting.
You could feel it.
Yeah.
Once it bottomed
And
out.
once it would hit, then you could mash it then. It was ready to go.
Yeah.
So we did that. I mean, I've run that for 3 years.
Wow.
And that was actually a fluke thing finding it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just tired of them guys was pulling away so bad. And I'm like, I got to try something. And I drilled that out. And I was like, after I drilled it, I was like, man, that was probably a bad idea.
This
I
might
was like,
have
heck
been
with it. I already did it.
So we mentioned you come from a huge racing family. How many members, can you count, how many members of your racing family are actually raced?
Okay. So my dad, Uncle Jack, Uncle Al, Uncle Bobby run some. Uncle Otis ran a little bit. Uncle Ray, obviously, he raced a lot. So I think it was all the uncles that raced. So there's 6 uncles.
6 uncles.
6 uncles. So then the second generation would have been me, Huck, which lives in Florida. Holy cow. Bill. Buck drove a little bit. Brian drove a little bit. I think it was it on the second generation. So that's another 6.
There's 6. So we're at an even dozen now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then you go to the next one, which would have been Brandon. So you got Brandon and Bubba, which everybody forgets because of age difference there.
Yeah.
They're in the same generation.
Right.
So Bubba, Brandon, Blake, Huck's boys tried to do it a little bit. They didn't run a whole lot. They did, but they didn't want to do it. It was one of them deals. Uncle Otis, I forgot Uncle Otis's boy drove once or twice. Little Otis. So that would have been on the other end. And then Junior's all by himself so far.
Yeah.
On the 4th generation.
So we're probably close to 20.
And that's just like straight up there. That ain't counting cousins off of other, like the Rudies.
Yeah.
The Rudies are part of our family too. So
Yeah.
we got cousins. It's all kind of cousins
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
raised there.
So we're close to 20 family members.
Yeah,
If
and then,
not more.
Well, Dave Beard, the car I drove, he's actually a cousin. So
Very good. Do you have a number, a list? A lot of guys will keep how many tracks they've been to. They keep a number
I
list.
did a couple years ago. I figured it up, and honestly I can't remember.
Ah.
We talked about it not too long ago. I was going to do it again because of because this year I've hit 4 or 5 tracks that I've never been to.
New tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I might actually sit down and do that.
Sit down, think about that, and let
I've
me know.
I've been out in Texas just watching. So I got tracks that I've just
Yes.
went and watched and tracks that
Yeah.
I've raced at.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like Eldora, I've watched there a lot, never raced
Never
there.
been there. Yep, same. Never been there. I've got a list, and not, but I mean, I've even thrown in NASCAR tracks. Like, how many tracks have I been to? You know, I've even thrown in a couple of those. Just, it's a racetrack. I've been there. Drag strip, been to it, counted it. So, yeah, it's it's a number, ain't it?
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah, Texas, Louisiana, Illinois. Shit. Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah. All the tracks you've raced at, do you have a favorite?
I mean, Florence is still my favorite.
Okay.
It's not. I'll probably get in trouble for this. It's not what it used to be, but it's still what.
Right. Yeah, I get it.
I mean,
Okay.
it's always nice, like with us traveling. So when we get to come here and race, it's like, finally get to go back home.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was saying earlier. I never had no luck there, really, other than figure eight. Never won
Yeah.
a feature.
Yeah.
Ran second, I don't know how many times. Led a bunch.
Yeah.
Stupid stuff happened. We was in front wheel drive cars. 16 maybe. Drove Rodney Foltz's car. Drove it one night, broke a hub. Come back the next week, broke another hub in heat race. So I had to start on tail of the feature.
Right.
Started on tail of the feature, won the race. First time I ever winning a feature at Florence Speedway.
Really?
That's still the only time I've ever won one. I should have won Jody's race earlier, but
Yeah.
that's different. I did. There was a lot of stuff going on there.
Right.
I'd have had to. Me and Junior had to beat on each other a lot to get that one.
Last question I got before we wrap things up. A lot of guys will have they'll name their car. It'll have a nickname or it'll do something.
Every one of mine's been named.
Every one of yours. This one has a name.
This one's Christine,
Christine.
named after the movie.
The movie. You can't kill it.
That and the fact that when we was building it, it cut Victor, which Victor owns half of this car.
Okay.
That's the R&H on it. He cut his arm wide open on it.
Really?
Had trail blood. I mean, all over the shop. Where
No good.
we was trying to figure out. What are we gonna name it? What are we gonna name it? And then that happened. It's like Christine, perfect.
Yeah.
So far it's worked out good.
So Christine. Okay. Very good. I like it. And it's just one of those little things. I think it's weird. Not necessarily weird, but I like the backstory on how the guys come up with the name.
Yeah.
I know Rice is big on the Bettys.
Yeah.
It's like, everybody's got their little niche. It's like
It's like Bubba's car that he won all the big races with in the championship when the front wheel drives was Ugly Betty.
Ugly Betty.
Got that car from Matt Morrell. It was beat to death.
Yeah.
Bubba put a motor in it and went out there, started winning. Everybody's talking about how ugly it was. He needed to do something. He just started calling it Ugly Betty.
Ugly Betty. Eventually I got to think Josh Rice is going to run out of Bettys.
Yeah, you'd think so, yeah.
What's he going to do? What's he going to come up with?
Oh, I'm sure they'll come up with something good.
Very good. All right.
Well, before we wrap it up, you just talk about late model, eh?
Yeah.
I've driven some other late models that didn't even get mentioned.
Tell me about him.
Ed Cook.
Yeah.
Drove that
The
car.
zero car.
Yep. Should have, that car, by the time we figured out what was wrong with it, it was lifting the front end plumb off the ground.
Okay.
Could not keep it on the ground. He had that Dargy engine in it.
Was this his zero car, or has this been his 6 car?
That was the 6 car.
The 6 car.
Yes.
Okay.
The last car he had, actually.
Okay. Was this? That would have been the
It was an old Masterbuilt.
blue frame Masterbuilt.
Yep.
Because he had, I can't remember, he had something else before that. It might have been a Masterbuilt. I'm familiar with that.
So that car, I mean, it had more power than anything I've ever drove. I'm like, man, if we could just get it hooked up, because as soon as I touch the throttle, it'd stand up.
Yeah.
We wound up having a traction bar on the wrong mount.
Ah.
We sat and tore that whole thing apart. Jesse was helping us. So we was trying to figure it out. And Jesse actually said, man, there it is.
Yeah.
After like 3 nights. It's like, there it is right there. So by then, we fixed it. It was time for the feature.
Yeah.
Didn't have no time to put no drive back in it. Come from the tail up to like 6 in it.
Yeah.
With no drive. I mean, I was playing with the throttle because it was spinning tires so bad.
Yeah.
And then it wound up getting tore up.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then by the time we fixed it, and then he had his issues. So then he was done.
Yeah.
So then the last one I drove was for Gordon. That was
The 47 car.
47 car.
Yeah.
And that one there was actually, I got a phone call on it and said, hey, Gordon's getting ready to have a seat open. I'm like, man, it's like, he don't know me either, but I'll go over and talk to him.
Yeah.
Went and talked to him. He's like, he hauled around. He's like, I'm going to drive it. And I was like, all right.
Okay.
So then I think it was the Fall 50. It was supposed to be a 2-day deal. And he said, come over and I'll let you drive it and see how you do. And said, you do all right, then
Yeah.
you can drive it the next night.
Okay.
I made the show.
Nice.
Like, all right, so made the Fall 50. I think I ran 6. It's like, all right, come back for the Spring 50. Made the Spring 50. Should have won the Spring 50 actually. Run out of laps.
Really?
Yeah, I think we finished 3rd. We was coming. That was the one that the track was rough.
Who did you replace?
Tom Webster.
I was gonna say Tom Webster would have
Tom,
been my guess.
Tom moved to Florida.
Tom moved to Florida. Yeah, I remember that.
And that
Tom
car-
was an old modified guy too.
Yeah, and that car, Gordon built that motor himself. It had a lot of motor in it.
He was originally not from this area.
Yeah, he's from up there in Connecticut.
Northeast. Yeah.
New York, something like that up in there.
Yeah, I remember having a conversation with him. I wasn't trying to, just
Yeah.
conversation, and it's like, no kidding, I didn't know all that.
But so he wound up, after I made the Spring 50 and did good, he put me in it. So it was funny because after I made the Fall 50. So then started out the year, we was all talking, me, him, and Stan. Stan said, Gordon, I'm telling you, better make sure you got a good motor in there. Rooster going to use every bit of that motor. I blew up 4 or 5 motors that year.
Wow.
But it was just stupid stuff. It wasn't nothing. It wasn't nothing.
Right. It's racing.
Yeah.
You got to use them.
Like we was up at Moeller because I was trying. He just wanted to run Florence at first, and I talked him into running Moeller. I was like, so I was helping him with tires and this, that, and other, so we can do both. So we was up at Moeller and broke a rocker arm. He wanted to load up. Well, again, I know everybody and their brother. It's like, hey, we got some rocker arms.
I'll find us a rocker arm.
So we fixed it. He fixed it. He wouldn't let me fix it. He fixed it.
Yeah.
They had autograph session, so he's like, take your cards out there and just sign them.
Yeah.
And I'll fix the car. Started on the tail. Little John won the race.
Yeah.
And 5 laps to go, I was passing Little John.
Really?
And the caution come out, and then on a restart, I got run over. Spun me out and put me back to the tail. But,
no kidding.
yeah, I was passing Little John with like 5 to go.
That's doing something.
Yeah.
If you're passing Little John at Moeller, that was doing
That's
something.
So he come over after the race. He's like, where did you come from? I said, I started on the back. He said, I looked down, and you was under me. He's like, holy cow.
You're right.
But I was
You wasn't a lap
aggravated.
car.
So I was running wide open through the corner, and that car was sticking.
Yeah.
It was old Rayburn with rocket rear setup on it.
Yeah.
So it had the 4-bar setup on it.
CJ never liked the
He hated the 4-bar car.
He hated
the
4-bar
car.
That probably didn't go over real well. But hey, it worked, right?
CJ, he actually paid attention to that car a lot. We had a lot of conversations with him.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I can't believe you guys are still making that old car work.
Yeah. Yeah. 4-bar.
But then we blowed the last motor up at the north-south, and Gordon's like, I ain't got no more.
Yeah.
We're done.
I'm out.
I'm like, all right.
All the cars, the different classes you've raced, which was your favorite?
I missed the late model. I had a lot of fun with them, but this is more for me because if I'm doing my own. If I'm driving somebody else's, obviously I like to go back to late model. But honestly, this car here, and running down south on some of them big tracks, I mean, even at Florence, I swear these cars, what we're doing now is almost as fast as some of the late models I drove.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Junior at Bristol, when they clocked him, he was running NASCAR times.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I remember what was the first, was that 01 when they had the first dirt on Bristol race?
Yeah, I think so.
I know the sprint cars were faster than the cup cars, and the late models were right about the same as the cup cars at that time. It's like on dirt, man, that's flying.
Yeah. Yeah, they the first time when they went down there, they had the lap times and the speed overall. He was same, if not faster, than cup cars.
Wow.
Because them guys was all, I can't believe it. That front-wheel drive is doing that.
Yeah.
That 4-cylinder.
These 4-cylinder front-wheel drives.
But these things are fast. They're faster than people give it credit for. They're actually more like a race car.
Yeah.
I wish more paid attention to the fact of, like, we're racing for money now. I mean,
Yeah.
They're getting to where we're paying more. I mean, like Winter Freeze is $23,000, I think.
Yeah.
So we race for a lot of $5,000, $10,000, $2,500, $1,000. Jody with his Ohio Valley SCDRA. He's $1,000, $2,500. I think he's got 2 or 3 $2,500s, and then the King of the Compact.
I've never raced one. Never. I don't think I've ever sat in one. And I've always said before I am completely done, which is probably pretty close. I haven't driven anything in a couple of years actually, but I've always said I want to try it one time.
They're different. They're definitely different. Well,
Yeah.
I'll give you a prime example. Big Brandon. I mean, look at what he done in the bombers. And
Yeah,
He
yeah.
run the crates and all that, and then he jumped in one. He's like, holy cow.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're different.
yeah. Jeep Flume. He's offered. He's like, oh, I'll put you in it. I'll put you in it. He's made the comment several times, and I'm afraid if he makes it one more time,
They
I'm
definitely
going to take him up on
Them
it.
guys got some good cars.
Yeah, they do.
They got
I
some.
mean, they're even aerodynamic.
Yeah. Yeah, we were. I ran last time I ran with one of them. We was up at Circle City.
Yeah,
We actually both of them was up there that night.
yeah.
So
There you go.
yeah, they got some good cars there. I mean, honestly, the front wheel drives around this area are good. I know they don't really like our Hondas around here, but
Right.
they've got some good cars.
Yeah,
I mean, their lap times are almost the same as ours.
Yeah. There are some people that there's a big divide in this division.
Yeah.
Some people are dead set against it, and some people are, Yeah.
Well, they've already figured out how to make their Ecotechs do it, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because that one there has got a stock bottom end. All it's got is a set of cams.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
There you go.
And I run up front just about there. I mean, down south it's a little bit harder.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're talking about there's some of them down there is 300 horse to the ground.
Ouch.
So
Damn.
yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, that's stock motor with cams, and that's why these Echo guys don't like them around here
Right.
because then anybody could come out with this motor and
Yeah.
everything we spend on ours but it's like they've already blowed it up. That's the reason I got away from them. I was actually going to quit, and then we decided to go with Honda because the last Ecotech I built, I had 3,500 just in the engine.
Really?
It's like, this is stupid. And
Yeah.
we raced it for $300 then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm not, if I'm going to do that, I'll just move back up again.
I've heard of guys spending big money on these engines.
There's a lot of money in them.
Yeah. I've heard upwards of 15 grand.
Oh, yeah.
There might be more than that now.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
That just sounds a little high to me. I don't know.
Well, like, guys down south, there's engine builder down there that, I mean, I think he's getting 15 to 20 just for an engine. But that's a 300 plus horse.
Yeah.
So,
You want to win, you got to have it.
and that's who you're running against when you go down there. So
Yeah. Yeah. Bring them big and hope you brought enough, right?
Big Brandon's starting to build them now, so he's got his confidence up because since he's built them, he's won like 3 or 4. Juniors won 3 or 4 with Brandon's motors. So,
Very good.
so now he's starting. So
There you go.
this actually is his. I blowed mine up,
Okay.
and he said, "Well, just put mine in there."
Yeah.
So we finished out the year with his.
There you go. Sounds good. So tell us now, who do you got to think? You've got a lot of sponsors.
Got a lot of sponsors.
Who do you got to think?
Biggest thing, like I said, Victor owns half the car, R&H Photography. I mean, I honestly, I was done. I was just going to help Bubba race. And I can't remember when we had the white car, White Lightning. Him and another guy said, "Oh, we want you to race again."
Yeah.
So they come up with money. We built that car. So
Right.
been back in him since then.
There we
So
are.
him and Bub helps me out a lot. Brandon, which is the Gibby's Plumbing, GFab. We just picked up a sponsor this year, which is the Commonwealth Inc. It's a warehousing place. They've come on. That's probably one of the biggest ones I've had in a while. Wingate. I can't remember. Complete ground maintenance, which is Nate Blanton. He's another racer that helps us. Moreland's helped us out a lot. Moreland's One Stop. Bill, which is Just Right Heating and Air. Mike Grout, which is a buddy of ours. It's actually when we had the Hondas before. When I won the King, I was in a Honda. So it's just fun. That's something else too. All 3 of the 2 of our Kings was in Hondas.
And Hondas.
Back when they really didn't like the Hondas,
Yeah.
but they don't like them anymore
You
now.
better stick with them now.
Yeah. So Mike Grout and Derek Bradshaw, which is down in southern Kentucky there, down south of Louisville. He's helped us out a lot on when it comes to this because they run asphalt with these.
Yeah.
He got Big Brandon's going on a lot of that. Jason Waters Tuning helps us out a lot. I think that's it.
That's you're running out of room.
Oh, we always got room.
I always got room for more.
And that's a lot of people's like, oh, you got all these sponsors, you got all these sponsors. I mean, I appreciate anything anybody does for us, but honestly, a lot of them, I mean, I'm not going to call, but if they give me something, they usually stay on my car for a year or so.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've got some that's like $100, $200.
Yeah.
And they've been on the car for a couple of years.
Right.
So it ain't, it helped, but it's not like I get it all the time.
Yeah.
And so everybody's like, oh, you got a big old list. I really don't have what y'all think. I mean,
Right,
it comes out of our
right.
pocket. We do a lot of this out of our pocket.
Yeah. There's a lot of racers that do that.
Yeah. I mean, you can't see them over there, but there's like 4 stacks of tires that we take with us when we go racing because we can't change a gear like you do a late model, so you change the tire size.
Tire sizes changes your gear in your car.
Yeah, so there's probably 30 tires stacked up over there. When we go racing, we fill the tire rack plumb up, especially a track that we hadn't been to.
Right, you don't know what you're going to need.
Yeah, so we'll switch them. I mean, like we went to Paragon and got that win up there. I had a good idea, but we wasn't 100%, so we changed 3 times.
Right.
And I still wasn't exactly where I needed to be. I mean, I got the win, but I wasn't. I feel like I could have got
Could have
better.
got more.
Yeah, because I didn't turn no RPM at all.
Huh.
Well, Circle City did the same thing, but
Yeah.
I did the wrong thing at Circle City. I missed qualifying because TPS went out, so I started on tail of the heat race. Man, it was good, but I didn't turn no RPM. I won it.
Yeah.
Come from the tail and won it. I should have left it alone, but I was like, feel like I could get it better. Well, I bit me. I went too far, so I ran 3rd.
Hey, sometimes that happens, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's a lot of fun doing these things. I appreciate any help I get out of them. So
Yeah. Well, you definitely got a good, solid foundation. I think you guys are going to be all right.
yeah, we should be.
All right. Well, good luck. Off season. Get
There
ready
ain't
for
much
next
off
year.
season.
There ain't much off season anymore.
No, so we got Screven in 2 weeks, or next week, and then Winter Freeze in February.
Yeah.
That's it.
You get a holiday break.
Yeah.
And then right
Yeah, we
back
need to
at
try
it.
to get Bubba's car done in that period. So,
Well, good luck.
Reaper, with Tyler Jones is Reaper. He built this cage, and that's
Yeah.
who's doing Bubba's.
He's doing that one too.
Yeah, this was the last one he built, and now he's
Okay.
doing Bubba's.
Definitely got it going on.
So his should be a little bit better than mine because we've learned a lot with this one. So we're
Yeah.
putting it into that one.
Okay. Maybe that one will be a little better.
Should be.
We'll see, huh?
He's a little bit better than me. I guess I just said that online.
He admitted it.
I don't tell him that enough.
Nah. Yeah, I get it. Cool. All right, man. Jerry, thanks for sitting here. I appreciate it, man, coming out the time.
Thanks for doing it.
Yeah, I it's one of those. It's like, man, why didn't we do? We should have done this like a long time ago. But it's
Yeah.
like next thing you know, man, time gets away and everybody's busy, and here we are.
Yep.
Well, cool. Better late than never, right?
There you go.
Good luck. Good deal.
All right.
All right, we're gonna wrap things up. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys like it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that great stuff, and
Oh, I forgot to add something else. My YouTube, Chasing Checkers.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
I didn't mention that when I was on
Chasing Checkers
Chasing
YouTube
Checkers.
channel.
YouTube channel. Yep.
Check that one out as well. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that great stuff. We'll see you at the track next week. Thanks.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.